Alright. Scope of macroeconomics: theory of employment, theory of economic growth, theory of money, theory of general price level, theory of national income, theory of international trade. Its importance, uses of macroeconomics: help in international trade, helpful in international trade, helpful in international comparison, helpful in controlling economic fluctuation, to develop and expand microeconomics, to evaluate the macroeconomics, or sorry, to evaluate the entire economy, and helpful helpful to understand the working of an entire economy, and helpful in formulating plans and policy. Limitation: dependency on individual unit. It means that several conclusion has showcased that you know several conclusion like the several what was that point, shit, how could I okay, so like several conclusion of microeconomics are based upon the sum of individual unit. And it's not true that each and every data is correct. Like what it could be true for one person, it could be wrong for the entire economy, right? So like if a person has saved some amount of money in a bank, then if everybody start to do that, okay, it will be great for them, but for an entire economy it will be a disaster. But due to that, there will be the fall in demand, and when people start to save a lot of money in the bank, there will be the fall in demand because they do not have enough cash, and when they do not have enough cash, the national income decreases because it doesn't count in that if they had saved that in their fixed deposit. Now here is another point, which is different effects of aggregates. So let me talk about this topic really importantly. Like it is one of the drawbacks, difficulties and challenges of macroeconomics, where it absolutely doesn't study the effects what happens on the aggregate. Okay, for example, we can take as it doesn't study the different sector of an aggregate. Likewise, suppose there is an apple costing 50 kg. Last week I go to the market, I bought a same amount of apple, okay, at 50 kg. And this time, this week, there is an inflation, rise in inflation rapidly, which goes up to 60 kg. All right, and here the profit will be for the state seller and the seller. So obviously there will be the loss for the consumer. So the macroeconomy study the in that aggregate, that's true, but the data is not correct, because here they do not study the effect, what effect it had to go through. It had to effect go through, which is the inflation. It doesn't study that. It just study how much data we could collect. It just study the data, it's collect that, and that's it. Effect doesn't matter. It matters though, but it could not study that in different sector of aggregate. So that's one of the limitation. And here next limitation is no feeling of change, which means that it's one of the limitation and drawbacks. As I have always said, that it does not study the price level in the economy. Suppose that there is an agriculture product and the industrial product. An agriculture product has produced suppose 150, where there is a price tax come in between the plus and the minus. It also depends upon which market you are, like you are in money market or the capital market. If you are in the money market, then the price is determined by the investor. If it's the capital markets, then the price is determined by the demand and supply. If it's demand and supply, or if it's in favor of the investor, the price is plus or minus. It doesn't study that. So I want to talk about, like, there is no feeling of change, because like it will just gather up both the data and divided by 2. As an example, suppose there is two product agriculture industry, this divided by the 2 down below, and the total production suppose 100 plus 102, 200 by 2, it means 100. So for another one, like it's 50, you know it's 150 and 50 both plus 200, and 200 by 200. So that's the case. No feeling of change there at all, but there is a change because agriculture product has 100 plus 50, which means 150, whereas the industry has 100 minus 50, which means 50. But in total it adds 100 plus 50. That's an individual unit. It's the sum of individual unit. As I told, on dependency on individual means several conclusion of macroeconomics are based on the sum of individual units, and it comes here 150 plus 50 sum of individual units is as a 200 plus divided by the 200. And here what we got, sum of individual unit 200, 100 plus 100, 200, 200 divided by 200. No feeling of change, but there is a feeling of change. That's on plus minus. That's the price level controlled by the investor or controlled by the demand or the supply. That's what I was talking about. And here ignores the contribution of individual unit. Here, like it comes once again the another difficulty of my macroeconomics, where like suppose the apple, mango and orange. Apple has produced suppose apple has produced 250, mango 200, orange 300. Together all total by macroeconomics is 750, and it's look up to better than the last year or the better than the last year. Alright, it's better than the last year. Alright, it's good for the economy, right? But suppose that apple has produced more. Alright, it's good. Mango has produced less than the last year, so it's difficult for that. It's different for the mango, but it doesn't study that. That's the case. And last one is heterogeneous unit. It means that under this macroeconomics studies, but it doesn't study in unit or the number because it is not possible. As an example, we can take the like 6 plus 6 apple, it will be 12 apple. It's a meaningful aggregate, it's a meaningful combination, it's a meaningful individual unit that you are connecting, right? But if 6 plus 7 fruits, that will be 13 fruits. It's a meaningful aggregate because both of them are the fruits, right? Like we cannot say like 13 fruits and apple, right? We can say like 13 only fruits. It's a meaningful aggregate. But 5 house plus 6 apples, how could this be possible? Could you merge that? It's not even possible. You cannot even as an individual unit merge that. So it's a non-meaningful aggregate. So this is what heterogeneous unit is all about. When the entire economy is being studied by macroeconomics, and this comes under, and it's really difficult for them to count. And yeah guys, this is it for the video. In our next session we'll be again doing revision of the macroeconomics variable. Alright guys, see you in the next video.